My opinion, number one is integrating livestock. The prairies were set up here for livestock. You think, over thousands and thousands of years with the bison coming through, they'd come through a region, they would hammer it, they would trash the grasses that were there with foot trampling, they would graze it, they would manure and urine everywhere. Then they might not be back for 4 or 5 years, and that was their grazing program across the prairies. Well, we've screwed that up by putting fences in, and we expect the soil to do exactly the same thing, but not helping it at all with rest periods or overgrazing and not letting it have a recovery. So we've got to get back to that. So that and having plant diversity, if you're a cropping guy and you haven't got room for a perennial stand in your cropping regime, then you need to look at having an annual crop that cattle can come in, work with a neighbour on who's a cattle guy and work with a neighbour for a program for you as a cropping guy to bring the cattle in and do the grazing, and you've got alternative crops growing in there with cocktail cover crops with legumes and brassicas and cereals, and having that biodiversity with the plants and the livestock on your soil. And as a cattle producer, I think we need to get our winter swath grazing programs or our annual programs integrated with our perennial programs. So having a perennial stand that's high legumes and grass blend. So I prefer probably a 60-70% legume and the rest is grass, and having that in rotational grazing. As well as planting pasture, we've got to look at planting fences as well. So planting posts is a cheaper way to buy more acres without actually buying the physical land. If we can rotational graze and rest paddocks and proper grazing management, then we'll be able to increase our land base utilisation without buying more land to supplement the farm. So I think with there's 3 or 4 different ways you can do it, but you got to find out which is unique to your place and which you can manage that will fit into your system.